Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here. So happy new year to you all, and let's take a look at my December wrap up for what I got up to as I've closed out the year in this journal and moving into my next journal. So okay, just had to wait for my dog to finish drinking her water. So if we start with my moon diary, finally got to the end of this one. So this is from the FlickeringCauldron on Etsy. And it is a magical diary filled with lots of information and moon kind of trackings and magical things. So we had cinnamon as the herb for the month for this year's diary, and I used that plenty because it is the season after all. I had definitely had tea with, oh, what do you call that, aniseed seed? Help me out, star anise. So I definitely had tea with star anise. I definitely had some cranberry. I had plenty of cinnamon. Lots of oranges adorned my tree, and there was plenty of greenery in the household this season. I didn't pay too much attention to anything else going on over here. And then used it, as you all know, to track my card of the day. And I did plan on doing the wind cycles actually, but I never got around to it. I haven't found an app. So if anyone knows of an app that instantly gives you the direction of the wind in your area, please do let me know, because not that I'm lazy, I just don't have enough hours in the day to look for all of these things. But it would be nice just if anyone's got an instant win that they know about, then I could do that, because I just wanted to track it. This was very funny. So I screwed up a couple of my pages. I hadn't written them in and I came back to write them in. And I had put them into my other tracker back to front as well. So I actually put them in the wrong place, and my cover-up way of doing it was basically big black blobs and then writing. I mean, you can see what it is. It works. It's fine. And we've got like another bit over here where I didn't actually do a card of the day, but I started something else on that day. And that was just kind of a way of marking it. And then we just carried on through. Now there are multiple symbols on my page because I did something a bit different this month with my daily polls, which I will show you shortly. And that so ends my diary for 2022. It's packed with so much information that, as I've said before, I don't actually get rid of them. I keep them for the information. So I might take out or stick together couple of my pages if I don't need, like if that information is not going to serve me going forwards, then I will stick them together, and then I'll have the March new moon and information about the worm moon, and I'll find something else then maybe that I'll stick on there if I don't need it. I do have another one of these, so I have pages now on Ostara, so I'm thinking that I might start to be able to collate and collect them together to create a big book of knowledge from what I get from these. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but somebody jigged you. So that's that. And then we moved into using up this old notebook, which was a freebie that came with a clothes company quite a few years ago. And I've just written on it that it's my tarot journal, and I've decorated it in gold stars and dots. I didn't draw the soldiers, they came on it. And then, so you saw we put November in here, and then got to, where are we? So you've seen those pages. December. So here we go, December. I have put a key down here because I used my runes daily with my cards, and I chose also to use a different set of cards. So I will show you those shortly, but I needed the key here just to keep me going, or to remind me of what they mean at least. And up here I have written down my decks to track. I ran out of space because I actually started pulling out more decks than I'd anticipated, and I've just put a few sticks in here. We have my tarot card and my oracle of the month from my birthday year ahead spread, and as you can see there are a couple of lines through where I didn't pull a card, and here's where I kind of started to mess up a bit and I was putting things in the wrong place. But it's all sorted, it's all good. And I went back to a spread that looks like this. So it's still my 3 card spread for the week ahead. So we have, instead of done energy, embrace and focus, and then written them out here. And then I also pulled runes to go with the card for the week ahead, and then tarot cards either side. And then we have my oracle card. So I was purposely trying to not take pictures and photos because of being mindful of how I'm moving forwards with my diary. And then my reflections here. And it looks like I used multiple things. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different decks noted, which would be right actually. Yep, 1 deck plus my runes, separate deck, another deck there. So yeah, okay, that'll be right. We have my full moon in Gemini from ethany.com. And I have the week ahead spread then for the next week of December. And you can see again, so we have my energy card with my embrace and focus, and then write up of what they are. And then I was trying to get used to this. So this is this part of junk journaling that I can't get my head around, where you put like a beautiful piece of something decorative on the page and then you write across the top of it. One, you can't read it, so you can see, well, you might not be able to see very clearly here, but here the wording disappears into the background, you can't see it. And you couldn't see where I was writing my headings, so I ended up doing big blocks to write across, so you could see what I was doing with my reflections for the week that's gone. So I don't know how I'm going to get over this, but I'm going to have to find a way. And again here, same thing, my pen just doesn't really quite cut it. Whereas here, even the red pen didn't show very well, to the point where I felt like I had to then write over it again in another colour to show it up. And yeah, so I'm struggling with this bit. I'm not sure what you do. I don't understand the layering process to write on something, if that makes sense. So I see people like take things and layer over, and then I don't see the point in sticking that bit of paper down. Anyway, yeah, my head just doesn't compute. So lots of cute stickers. Don't tell anyone, I was really naughty and I did actually order some more stickers. So I've got these really cutesy vintage stickers. And then I had a few spreads that I drew in. So this one I got from Sadhana at Integrative Healing on YouTube, and she was doing a chat about past life spreads. So she talked about this one, so I've written it down, and I did put pictures of this one in. I used an oracle instead of a tarot deck to run this spread, and then I've just written around it about the cards that came out. And I'm sure if you go across to her channel, you'll find there's quite a few chats and things about those. I can't remember if it was a recent one or if it was I can't remember what day it was, so I don't know. If I find it, I'll link it, but if not, if you just pop over to Sadhana's Integrative Healing, you should be able to find it in her playlist, because there's so many good bits of information in there. She also talked about a modified Celtic cross for looking into past life kind of issues. So I wasn't sure perhaps what my past life issue was for this. So I pulled a card. So I pulled one card to tell me what my past life issue is, and then I pulled the Celtic cross around it. And that was quite an interesting thing to do. And I must say I didn't actually disagree with the past life card that I pulled. Now, this one I pulled from last year's tarot journal. So it was a repeat spread called the North Star spread by Boden Tarot. And it was from the Merriam Bright challenge that she did. But that's all been deleted, I think. I can't find it when I look for it, so it doesn't actually exist anymore. So this was just a kind of 5-card spread, as you would, 5 points for your star. Something to guide you, something to connect you, something to support you, something to ground you, and something to inspire you. And I just got, like, from all of this, the word being equilibrium. So I've just put that there. And then there was a Loving You spread from the Earth School Healing that I came across last year as well, I do believe. And this was in my journal from, I'm not sure what month last year, but I just pulled it out and dropped it in here. Thought it'd be a nice one to redo in this month of craziness. And again, these are all from my journals. These are repeats, just things that I was interested to see. So I've pulled out Working with Ancestors. So this one, Benabel Wen, I think is the first place I came across this one, and forgive me if it's from someone else, but this is one where she kind of does it in a chant. So Ancient One of Blood and Bone, how may I best commune with you? Ancient One of Blood and Bone, tell me what it is that I need to know right now. And then Ancient One of Blood and Bone, I am your legacy, tell me how I may best honour you. And I quite like doing that whenever so often, checking in. Then we have the guiding gifts, again from the Merry and Bright spread that doesn't exist anymore. And I used the Moonchild Tarot for this. I actually planned on using that as a main deck this month, but something with it doesn't hit. So I'm not sure. It's a beautiful deck, but something doesn't quite click. I'm hoping that when the Dark Moon one comes in, perhaps the colourway will be better, but fingers crossed it's not a waste of money. Then I have the final week of December. So I have my energy card, my embrace, my focus, my rune. And instead of writing about each card, I've written in here about the cards. And then down here, I've written a little kind of reflective note to self, and ending out with words will be key this week. So that was quite interesting. And we have my oracle card and then my reflective card. So I only pulled one card for the reflection, and that was a world. And the world comes to conclusions, which I thought was actually a really fitting card for the 30th of December, wrapping up my final day of work for the year. Yeah, so, you know, there were some nice little nuances that appeared this month. I have this one, Lighting a New Path, again from the Merry and Bright. And this was a 4-card spread, and I added a 5th card in here for my oracle. And I did this with a Mages Only deck. So I've drawn some of the items off the deck into here, and it is what I carry into the new year, what I release to light the path for the new year, what I have yet to acknowledge, where to focus my energy moving forwards, and then my oracles, the final words of advice. So how did I do this? I didn't quite follow it as per the way it had been originally done, so I adjusted the spread slightly for what is useful for the new year, what I need to let go of, what I need to embrace, and then where do I need to focus. That was how I actually did that spread. Although I've written it as it was to honour the person who created it, I did change it. So I changed that one up a bit, and then obviously adding my oracle card for final words of advice. And as I said, I did that with Mages Only and then oracle deck. And then I had this one. Now, I will be very honest, I don't actually know where this spread has come from. It's in a couple of my journals. It's a guide into the new year, and it's, I don't even know how many cards this is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 card spread. So you have your main card that goes in the centre for where we are now. We have goals to strive for, lessons for the year ahead, area of self-growth for the year ahead, overall energy for the year ahead, spirituality, whatever you're feeling spirituality-wise. And I looked at that as in for the year ahead, what I need to heal in the year ahead. So this was kind of all the year ahead. Oh yeah, so was this. So the career, what I think might be going on with my career as I move forwards, relationships going into 2023, something positive about moving forwards and something negative about moving forwards. And with this spread, I actually used Barbara Walker, which I've used a few times for this one. And I had 6 mages in this spread, which is just something for me of note. 3 swords and 2 cups, and 3 of which were court cards out of those 5 cards. So I thought that was quite interesting. Am I going to tag any major significance to that? No, not really, other than the fact I have 6 mages. So I'll pay attention to my mages and where they landed in the chart. So especially if you know, for healing, career, relationships, positivity and self-growth. Oh, of course. And where I am now, the Emperor. And that was how we finished up. So that's the end of my tarot journals for 2023. Now, what do you want first? The deck or the next set of journals? What should we do? The decks? Let's have a look at the decks. Just to mention, most of my journal was written in one of 3 pens really, for the most part. And these are my pens. So one of them is this, it's an artist's pen, it's a Pentel, it's a Tradio, and this is one, if you can see that, it's like a kind of flexible fountain pen, which is one that I like to do my line drawings with, but suddenly I've decided I also like writing with it, so it doesn't show up very well on camera, I am sorry, but it's a very weird type of thing. This is basically the insert, and so it's just these bits. So this is the refill, and I have used up my first refill that I had in here for 20 something years, and I refused to use the pen because I didn't like the person who gave it to me, but I liked the pen, if you know what I mean. I couldn't get rid of it. I finally got over that and decided that they have no bearing on me using the pen. So in the last 4 months or something, I've gone through an entire cartridge, so I've got 2 more on order for that. And then I have my Zebra fountain pen. So these are the refills, red and green, which I've had for over a year now because they are just absolutely full of ink. And they write really nicely. I have these in multiple colours. There is a little, she says, yes, there's a little refill kind of gauge there. And I'm still only about here with the ink. So it was full to about there. So I'm only here and this far in, having had them, both of them, for that long. So they last forever, these pens. So for £12 for a pack of 6 in different colours, actually, if you want to play with fountain pens, really good buy. An inexpensive way to do it as well. So there we go. The decks. Okay, so my main deck, my daily draw deck, is the White Witch Tarot, and that is the Mages only. These gorgeous images, and with that I have this bag which is hand printed by the lovely artist Hannah Willow, who is UK based, and she has made a really gorgeous oracle deck, and she does lots of other, you know, amazing art. And in here is, I've shown them before, just take my rowan berries out, my mugwort sits in there. So these are my rooms, and this is the key that you saw on the bottom of my journal. So what I would do is I would pull a card and then I'd have a rune to go with it. So I think that might have been one of the ones I got actually. So New Beginnings with the World. So endings and new beginnings. So I thought, like, you know, so some of them were really, really cool. I think we had the Hangman and Balance come out a couple of times. So it was just really interesting to see how they sort of work together. I know I had this one quite a lot, so a bit of movement. I definitely had this one. Is that Reflection? And this one was a Stalker, so with the Chariot, and I had Direction. So yeah, so I had some really interesting cards. I think I even had like that one with the sun. Now when I was doing my weekly spread, it was a bit different. So I'd have, say, my card and my rune, and then I was using Tarot of the Vampires by Ian Daniels, and I would do this for my Embrace and Focus, and that was basically how my spread would sort of look. So I'd come down a bit closer. I'm trying to do this. You can see the sun like starting to pour in through windows. It's really low, it's blinding me. So yeah, so this is how my kind of weekly spread would look. So here would be like my main energy, and my rune to go with the additional for the energy. Then I'd have my embrace and what to focus on. Just do that for the visual. And it was quite nice to use the cards in a very different way, if I'm being very honest. Having the runes was the extra layer to, you know, this deck, and it was just really kind of interesting for what that brought. Now, as you know, I'm not very good with the whole defining a deck for a set purpose, and for that reason I really can't kind of work out what this meant when I was reading it, if that makes sense. Like, I can't say to you, oh, it was very definitely an emotions deck or something. I don't quite think that was it. This was it was poignant. It definitely matched the energy for the time of year, I'm not going to lie, but it gave a nice balance. Like, they did balance each other up. I didn't try it, if I'm honest. I didn't try it without the rune. So I didn't try reading the spread without the rune for the extra kind of layer. So the rune was already there and had already given me that energy. And that was quite nice. So we did that. And then there was only one other layer that went with this reading, and that was my oracle. So let's just come back a bit. Let's find my oracle, to show you how it might have looked. But as you know, the oracles I throw down, and this is the Tree Magic Oracle by Gillian Kemp. This is the original version from can't even remember when I got it, maybe 97 perhaps, something like that. Somewhere around there. It comes with a little guidebook. These are the backs for this one, and I believe it has been revisited and revamped. I haven't seen the new version. I don't know how different it is. And then I'd have a tree message to support my reading for the week ahead. And these have got so you've got like your tree, your meaning, your number. It gives you like a keyword reference, and then it has a little saying on there. So the hazelnut tree is protection and good luck, helps you to advance confidently in the direction of your dreams. And we have our fig tree, the tree of life, or also known as a tree of life, and it's an enlightening love card, and it says lower pleasures you attract are potentially overwhelming and dangerous. Peace arrives through higher gratification. So it just has like little things to help you. Yeah, so it's not in the same colorway as any of this, but it was just a kind of grounding energy to the reading, I think, is what I was sort of aiming for. Plus a bit of sunshine and light, a bit of greenery to the old reading. So it was nice. So that's that set there. I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's going on over here as well. So here we have Temperance with 4 of Knives for embrace, and there we have focusing on the Devil. So you know, that's a very nice one for balance. So you're balancing on the control elements and rest elements that are needed within your life. And then here we have the Pear Tree of good relationships. So again, you know, like balancing out your relationship with yourself, with others. Is there somebody trying to control you, or is there somebody that's stopping you from having your rest? You know, so that sort of balance is there. Almond trees, I do like almond trees. We have the Moon with the 4 of Sceptres, which is 4 of Wands, I do believe, and the 2 of Sceptres with our almond tree for Windfall. So yeah, okay, that's probably enough of that one boring you all. So let's get rid of those. But the Vampire Tarot, I didn't actually buy this as a deck that I wanted to work deeply with. I bought it because the book is meant to be really good. Now, I have had a little look in the book. The book is excellent. I haven't read it, but I have flipped through it. And what I've seen in the book, it is fairly impressive. So I haven't been disappointed with buying it. I just haven't had time to read it. So, but it was nice to get this deck out and use it and have a good solid grounding for it. And as far as Christmas goes, it's got that gold gilding, so I think that's why I chose this. I've noticed at this time of year I do like something with some foiling on the cards, so that's kind of my key thing I think for the December season, is the foiling to give me that like light, bright, sparkly element. Now I don't know if I use my runes for anything else, so I will put those away. That one. Now I did a couple of spreads with some other decks, so those are the ones I'd laid out to use. I put down the Moon Oracle to use at the Moon Tarot. Oh god, Moonchild Tarot, really didn't use it, so I'm not going to talk about that one. I did put this one out. This is one of the ones I use for the ancestors. So Madame Wilhelmina, Monsters of the Macabre. So she came out to play. It was really interesting actually, one of these spreads. So I pulled a card to find out what it was in my past life issue that I bring forwards, and it was actually the 5 of coins that came out. And then the cards that surrounded this were based on relationship. So in this card, although we know what the 5 of coins means, but to look into the card, there is like a young boy and girl here kind of having very definite problems. And I just thought it was like really interesting then how we moved through the cards and what they sort of said. I'm not going to relay the spread here because I haven't set it up in order to do that, but from a reading point of view, it was, again, you know, it's a little bit dark, a little bit murky, moody. Definitely got that autumnal winter vibe to it with the colours, I think. It doesn't feel like a summer deck anyway, although, who knows? I don't kind of adhere to a general aesthetic other than definitely a gold deck for, or a silver deck for December. But yeah, so I really enjoyed using this. It's out of print, I do believe, right now. Every so often the creator of this deck will do a run, but I don't know if she's planning on doing any more at the moment at this point in time. I did check on her website and there was nothing there currently, so yeah, so that's that one, and I did edge it, so I used that one for an ancestral spread. I used this one for my year ahead spread. It felt right, I don't know what to say, so this one went down for my year ahead. The words were challenging on this, so I try now to try and incorporate these key words like seclusion, sorrow, disillusion. But it's hard sometimes because when it comes to it, they don't always quite match what's going on. But yeah, you know, plenty to be thinking about, plenty to get on with this deck. So you all know I love Barbara Walker. I would love her I Ching, Goddess I Ching oracle that she's done. I didn't know it existed until Candy showed it, and oh my, the artwork is just like this. Some of it extends on some of this art, I noticed when I was looking at it. I don't know if Candy's realised that, but I can't find the deck, so it shall be. I've put it out there. I would really like to get hold of it. Not at a silly price, at a respectable price. But yeah, if anyone's got one, just let me know. I think this was one of them. The 6 of Swords was definitely another one that I recognised when Candy was flipping through her deck. So it was really interesting to see like the rest of that piece of artwork. So instead of it being short, it was elongated. So there we go. Barbara, although not in my lineup for this year, for December, still made it. I don't know if I'll be doing that tag that's going around with most used decks for 2022, because most of them you see me pull out every month on month, and you know that I try to change them up anyway. I did use the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar, and I don't know if I've written down the... I've just got Sally Morningstar. So I did use this for one of those spreads. This is one of the ones I took a picture of because I just wanted to see the pictures. And I used it basically instead of a tarot, or in place of a tarot, or the same as a tarot. I do really rather enjoy this deck. I do use the guidebook with this deck because it's an oracle. And there are some really good prompts in the guidebook for this. And I use it for myself. This, you know, I wouldn't use this on somebody else. So decks I use for myself, if I want like some deeper insight and meaning, sometimes it's really useful to have a guidebook to go to, because you can get kind of blindsided or one-sided with how you read your own cards. And I think that the guidebook just pulls me back to the place of balance and centre and sensible messages. So I'm not just being biased about what I'm reading, otherwise all my readings would be fabulous, darling. Absolutely fabulous. And there'll be nothing bad going on in my life. So that is my Witch's Oracle. And then the other deck I never expected to be pulling out this month was my Alleyman Tarot. So this one did come out. It does give a nice reading. I love the fact that it's all different. But it's sort of, this is, I don't know, this is the nitty-gritty. This is the fine detail of a reading that this gives me. Many of my decks kind of give an overall feeling and energy, like a stronger overview of what's going on. And then this deck somehow doesn't do the overview, but it's like, so instead of the headlines, this gives me the, like, you know, paragraphs of information. That's the only way I can explain it. It's the only way I can explain this deck to you. It gives me paragraphs of information. It's like the fine print on a contract or something. It just, yeah. Don't know that I have any other decks that sort of do that, to be very fair with you. This is the only one I've ever described in such a way. And for that reason, if I need to know the fine print, this is probably the deck I'm going to pull out, actually, because it does it so well. But yeah, so that's the Alleymans, which I have done a full walkthrough and shown you my entire deck as I created it, because I haven't finished creating the other decks. So one was going to be a dark oracle, or it might be a complete oracle, I'm not sure, but I haven't got that far yet. Yeah, so those were my, looking around at me, yep, those were my decks. And then it was, what do I do about journaling moving forwards? Well, it's a no-brainer. I was not going to move forwards into 2023 without this one, and if you've been around my channel, you'll know that it's been on order since March, I think, whenever the pre-orders came out. My name was there, I was done, my name was there, and I was sorted. So I was not missing out on it, because when we get to September, these things have sold out usually, and they're impossible to get hold of. So if there's a pre-order, I'm on that list. And depending on how many pre-orders I get, depends on how many prints they do of this, because it's only a small business. And it usually takes a couple of weeks for the orders to come through. Although, let's be honest, in England we've had an awful time with post, for reasons that I shan't go into, but we all know what they are. And it has meant that things have either not made it for Christmas, been heavily delayed, beyond our controls. You know, things that we're posting. I posted a gift in the last massive strikes. First class. So it should have arrived within 3 days maximum. because the time I posted it, it should have got there the next day, and it was 3 weeks late. That's posting in my own country to my own country, and that was a letter. 3 weeks. I actually thought it got lost. So I can't imagine what that does, but you know, I think it teaches us patience, and good things comes to those who wait, right? So it's got all its usuals. I believe I have actually done a flip through of this. If I remember, I'll link it in below. And it starts in January, so this is different. So here's where my whole tarot journal setup for moving into 2023 changes. So my grid is already here, and I've already started. I haven't done today's card actually. I was having a lazy day, so I've put my key in, I've put my word in, and because it's a smaller box, it's going to restrict me and take me back to keywords only and not sentences. And then it talks about our dragon because it's about dragons and crystals this time moving forwards. So we've got dragons and crystals. January herb here is basil, so there's a little bit of information about basil, so I can still carry on and do my using of the herbs throughout the months as I go forwards. So that's quite nice. And we've got some information about different crystals and healing crystals. And the January's healing dragon, Tiger's Eye. And there's a bit of information about Tiger's Eye. So what does it say? Don't think of a tiger's eye as a stone that only serves to relax and enhance clarity. It is a stimulant of both mind and body. Whilst it's believed to improve sight and clear congested sinuses, the tiger's eye will stimulate both your mental and your physical activities. Now, I have to be honest, I use tiger's eye as protective as well. And that's probably in there because I haven't read the whole thing. So, and then there we go. So we have our star sign is Capricorn, starting out the 1st of January. There's my first card. And there's my expansion on the keyword. So there's retreat, nurture, look after your spark today. I thought it said spork then. We have a few of those in the cupboard. And we have the wolf moon as we move into January. Talking of moons, did anyone see the dark moon at the end of December? It was amazing as you watched it just with the base of the crescent. It was huge. I've never seen anything so big. So yeah, that was interesting. So that's going to be my journal moving through. I haven't put my tabs down the side yet. I haven't bought them. I will. And then I couldn't make up my mind on what to use, so I've decided on a Kinbor, and this is it's got threads in it, so it's been stitched and then it's got tape there. And it's just a nice flexible cover. It's cream, and it was that little symbol there. And then I found some gold stickers in my stash, which I've stuck on to go with it. And close your eyes if you don't want to sneak peek at what's going on. This is a dot grid journal, and it lays flat. This is what I love about it. It lays flat. I have no idea how many pages are in this, quite honestly. But it's beautiful. Now, I was going to get the Stylo, as many of you know, as I got close to end of November into December, the Stylo was actually coming back as my win. And I was like, why do I need a £28, £32 book to write my tarot in when I've just spent the year in £4 and a freebie? So all of last year's was £4 and a freebie, and this one was £12. And I really like it. I like the way it feels. I like the fact that it's flexible. I like the fact that it moves. It's cream and clean, although it's probably going to get dirty, so I might need to get a dust jacket for there. But so far it's working. So I haven't had to do my grid, so my front page can be smaller. I can just move easier in and out. I haven't decided what's going there. I have started a 30-day tarot challenge, so I've already drawn up my 30 days tarot challenge in here. Because I want to work with a deck and get to know it a bit better. I've got one left for my Wednesday Wisdom tomorrow, and my week ahead spread, which I haven't actually done, although it started yesterday. I'll probably do this tonight because it's for my working week. My working week will begin tomorrow, so it's only a short working week for me. No, today is Monday the 2nd of January. I told you I have no idea what day of the week it is. So there you go. That is how I will be working through this one. So there may not be a whole lot else going on because of that 30-day challenge, getting to know my deck. but I thought it'd be a nice way of just recording the work with that deck in my tarot journal. So we shall see. This one's going to get me through obviously quite a bit. I'm not going to look to stuff it too much, so it'll probably just be mostly weeks, and we'll see where we go with that. But yeah, those are those. The only other journal that got one mention at the start of the year, that was the cycles journal. This is basically for the female body, tracking your cycles and other, you know, health issues that you might have. And you can see it's very definitely aimed at the female body. So I'm not trying to disclude anyone with regards to this. So if you have hormonal things that you need to track, this might work for you. But it is mostly aimed at examining the female anatomy and learning to get used to things. And yeah, so it had monthly trackers, which also tracked with the moon. So you had monthly trackers, and it had like habit trackers down the sides. Then it had its various like daily sections, how to track with the moon. So lots of it I didn't use, which is why I haven't actually repurchased this one. So I did get to the point where I realised there was lots in here that I didn't use, but lots that I was using and found really good. So this is my 2022 tracker. For what I needed it for, it did its job beautifully. And at the end of each kind of moon cycle, I think there was like a reflective page. So I was using it to track my food and silly stuff like that. So there was like a reflective page there, check-in reflections, and then there was like a prep and planning for the month ahead. But the idea was then if I had any issues health-wise, I could take this to the doctors, and it's kind of like my record of what I was doing. But this was like 60 quid, and I decided that it's a lot of money. And again, with my Kinbor, this one being £12 versus a £28 Stylo, or even a £70, were they? £68, I think I saw the A5 Hobonichis, which would do a beautiful job as well. That's just like, no, sorry, but no. So what I did is I went to Etsy, and I picked up from, just get a page, the Wandering Moon Company, basically. So I purchased a bunch of things from the Wandering Moon Company to print off. So one was a tarot and astrology chart. We had a blood moon tracker, if it loads. It's so slow on this thing. There you go. And so there's a blood moon tracker, so you print one out for each moon cycle, so you probably need 13. And there is a key there, and then the idea was I was going to add my own bits to the key because it didn't have everything I wanted. So in here I had started adjusting the trackers and cycles and the keywords. So there's things that I would want to add or take out of this to make it more unique to me. And then we had the period tracker, which is this one, but I can't get it to print out, so I don't know what I've done wrong. So it's missed the top bit completely, and then it stopped printing there and hasn't printed the rest of the bottom. So it hasn't printed their logo, hasn't printed the rest of my notes. But again, I've got like the key here, so I could cross out some of those, put some of my own keys in, and again extend my keys down into notes. So I've just got like a much bigger key tracker. And I think the idea is that you'd give them colours. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to work with this, but I was just trying to find something where I could continue to track or work with what the big journal had been giving me. There we go. I think that is everything that I have to talk about. So yeah, we've gone from that to these. So okay, well, thank you for sticking with me. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.